University, and let me share screen our introduction page. Okay, you should be able to see our beautiful face here today. We have Miss Huan Honorly from Monroe University. She's the Executive Director of International Admissions. And today's session spotlights include, but not limited to, most popular CPT programs in New York City. Next one, rules and terms with CPT that you should know before enrolling. Next will be residency, tuition, majors, and scholarships available. And last but not least, the second half of our information session today will be live Q&A with our Miss Huan here. So yeah, and get ready and ask questions. Put your questions. Make sure they're in the Q&A section in your toolbar. And our Q&A specialist, Bola, here today with us. He will collect all the questions from the Q&A bar and put them together in a sheet, and we'll get the questions answered in the Q&A session. Meanwhile, if you have any further question or want application guide about Monroe University, please scan the QR code and get into the consultation with us. If you're an English speaker, you can scan the QR code on the left and get into WhatsApp chat with us. If you want Chinese consulting, we also have a team designated for you. Please scan the QR code on the right. All right, with that being said, let's first introduce a little bit more about Goyi, who we are. All right, so Goyi Lee with our location in LA, we're a professional consulting agency dedicated to helping international students to thrive in the US. Our services include, but not limited to, first, hybrid professional program application, and of course, program matching and recommendation for you. We'll help you throughout, even after your enrollment. If you have any question, you can also reach out to us. So we also do F1 reinstatement or emergency transfer. If you have any special case you want to resolve, make sure you scan the QR code on this page. So last but not least, we also do change of status support. We also have basic explanation and recommendation on your case about which school could be a good fit for you. For example, our Monroe University today, it's a very change of status friendly school. So for our mission and vision, we want to make students' American dreams come true. That's a big name, and we are also successfully certified by ARRC, which is the American International Recruitment Council, successfully ever since 2022, which makes us the sixth ARRC certified agency ever in the United States. All right, with that being said, we also have Goili Rewards program ongoing. So as long as you sign up, you can sign up with a personal email, or after your enrollment, you can verify with your school email. You can unlock up to hundreds of dollars worth of benefits. Each of the rewards point can redeem into $1 worth of gift cards. We have various types ranging from Starbucks, Amazon, as well as Visa prepaid card. Basically, you can use anywhere that accept Visa payment. Awesome. So recently we also started a new series called Weekly Immigration and Education Webinars. It's totally free, and all you need to do is just sign up and join our free webinar series in partnership with SEVP registered DSOs, licensed immigration lawyers, as well as recruiting experts and former USCIS officers. Okay, so of course, as an established company and certified, we also have really good reviews from our clients and now our students. So we have over 500 reviews, and most of them we're proudly to announce they're 5.0. Awesome. We're of course on social medias. We're on basically all the major channels out there, so let's stay in touch. All right, with that being said, hope Miss Huan getting ready for our webinar today. We're now at 20 attendees, so let me share screen from Miss Huan's slides right now. Okay, let me go to the page. Okay, Miss Huan, your showtime.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. And I saw some familiar names. Maybe some of you, we have contact, we have phone calls or emails. So tonight, I'm gonna spend like very little time to introduce about ourselves, and we're gonna leave majority of time to all of you guys. If you have any questions, because sometime maybe you call our office or email us, maybe I didn't lively there to answer all the questions and concerns. Tonight, I'm here to joining Goyoli's webinar and help hopefully can answer all the questions. So let's start it. Okay, today's key points, key topic. I'm gonna introduce a little bit about Monroe University, and I'm gonna introduce about the graduate program information, what kind of program we offer, and what kind of program considered as STEM, and how much it costs, and how long you're gonna take for all the programs. So, and the policy of attendance and the CPT. I think majority of you will be very interesting in our policy and nowadays like many different news out there, and let's identify and let's move on to tonight's webinar. So let's introduce about a little bit Monroe University. We founded in 1933 during the Great Depression, start with 7 female students. Our core philosophy, providing quality education to facilitate employment, has remained unchanged for over 93 years. Today, maybe the number is slightly different. We have over 9,500 students from all over the world, and we graduate 50,000 students worldwide, all focused on their future. Educational approach. Our practical programs are taught by experienced practitioners, ensuring students can apply classroom theory to real-world scenario. How come we have the full-time CPT program in the New York City? The main campus is in Bronx. The international campus is in New Rochelle, which is Westchester, 30 in the north of New York, 30 minutes train ride from Grand Central Terminal. So New Rochelle, it's very complex. We have a very quiet town, 35 minutes away from the New York City. So we have a very like roughly 3,500 students in this campus from all over the world. We have the facilitated 600 international student or domestic student in the dorm, and we have our cafeteria. We have a couple buildings in suburb of New Rochelle. So if any of you want to come to our office to visit, welcome to our office, and we can keep it keep to see you in person to introduce about our programs or our attendance. Next slide. So we provide like 6 programs for this October 2025 intakes. This is just a newly launched intake only for you guys because back then we don't have the semester starting in October. However, this year everybody knows the environment is different out there. So we receive couple emails, phone calls from the student. They all want us to open up an intake in October, late October. So some student, they are OPT ending maybe in end of September or early October or early November. All this together, student can join the October 25 intakes. The very key dates for this intake. Everybody has to know because if our regular intake, we're gonna give few more days to student, maybe transferring service record a little bit late. We can wait few business days. However, in this intake, because it's a very mini intake, and you're gonna starting between our fall and winter semester. So every date has to be very accurate. The application due date is October 15th. Service transfer due date is October 20th. Semester starting date is October 25. October 25 also will require students to in person to our New Rochelle campus to attending the mandatory orientation because we need to, our DSOs, our deans, our advisors, all of us will be there to let our student know what's our CVIS rule, what's the CVIS rule right now, and what's the attendance is important to everyone. How about like the travel signature? How about the CPT? So we are going to be there on the first day of the class starts to see all the incoming students. So the earliest CPT start date is October 25. That means student has to transfer in their service record in October 20th. We are going to take roughly 5 to 7 business days to processing the CPT. If you're lucky enough, or if you submit the paperwork accurate, you probably going to get the CPT I-20 on October 25. That's which the first day of the school starts. And in this intake, we only offering limited majors. For example, MBA, the regular MBA, 36 credits. The second is MBA STEM, 35 credits. The third one is computer science, 36 credits as well. And Master of Data Science, also 36 credits. And we have two health related major. The first one is public health, which is also a STEM program, 45 credits. And the last one is healthcare administration. It's 42 credits. We're only offering the 6 majors in this October mini intake. Yeah, if you're interested in like forensic psychology or criminal justice, accounting, or early childhood education, this kind of program, you probably need to wait until our winter regular semester, which is start in January 6th. That semester offering full intake, full majors, every major you can choose in that regular intake. But for this fall 2 intake, only this 6 major gonna be offering. Okay, next slide. Okay, so that we're gonna the same thing that like I mentioned before, if you're interested in other majors like MPA, advanced certificate, forensic psychology, criminal justice, health, that major, you need to waiting until the winter intake, not this mini intake in October. Next slide. So on campus frequency, it's once a month. For fall intake, these 2 days, every student has to remember October 25, that's the first day of the school starts. We require student to in person to attending the orientation. On the following day, Sunday, student take all the class virtually. Um, from their home or from whatever. We don't require student to attending 2 days. Only that Saturday, student has come in person. The class usually start from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., 1:30 to 4:30, all following in the Saturday or Sunday. But if the in person, student only need to come once a month. So after you finish 3 consecutive semesters with this, you're allowed to have a break. However, during the break, student cannot take CPT. So if you want to have CPT nonstop, you have to attending all the semesters. But during the semester break, for example, our fall intake finishing up in December 13, starting December 14 to January 5. This break has 3 weeks. Everybody can have the break. The CPT nonstop, you do whatever you want to do during the break. However, next semester, there's no gap between the semesters and semesters, the CPT, I mean, but that 3 weeks, literally student can taking their break, enjoying their break. They don't have any classes during the semester break. Next slide. That's for winter semester. I believe majority of you guys interested in our October intake. So, but I just mentioned about the the winter start. The winter gonna starting in June 6th, and we have the regular weekday class schedule and weekend. So the weekday gonna be like from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. The weekend gonna starting from 10 to 4:30 p.m. The same the semester break policy as I mentioned before. Next one. CPT renew frequency. We require students to submit all the paperwork per semester. Because some I know some schools, some students, they are calling us as I heard other school they only require students to renew the CPT once a year. However, in Monroe University, we require students to submit all the paperwork every semester because the CPT is curriculum practical training. That's a one credit class. If the class it has to has a starting and end date, the class not gonna last 1 year long. And during the our administration, like we require it's maybe you think probably a little bit more than other school, but we want to protect the student because in the future, the RFE or anything, the USCS not gonna punish on your employer, not gonna punish on school. They're gonna if something goes wrong the student gonna be the one who take the responsibility. So we want every student to submit their paperwork every semester. Before the semester starts, we processing the CPT between the semesters. You don't have any gap. You can work nonstop. For the new student, the earliest date to starting the CPT is the first day of the school starts. After you will enroll, there's no gap between the semesters. Yeah, if you haven't used your OPT, so you cannot take in more than 12 months during the program. Otherwise, you're gonna lose the eligibility after you graduated. But I believe majority of you already using up your OPT opportunity. The next slide. It's a tuition. Yes. Everybody want to know. We are located in New York. Main campus is New York City, and our international campus is in Westchester. How much it cost you to pay for tuition every semester? For the first semester student, 7 credits, student has to pay $6,760. For the student already have a master degree from another U.S. institution, the cost lowered to $4,598. For the advanced certificate in data science, this program only offering in winter, not gonna offering in this October. It's gonna be $5,390. But if you would like to apply for CPT, it's gonna be $5,890. Yeah, once again, the class schedule. The study mode is hybrid. Student need to come in person once a month. Next slide. Yes, it's like some activities. So we've been in New York more than 93 years. So our majority of the student body is undergrad. Our grad school only have 2,500 students. We just hit the 2,500 this fall. So majority of our undergrad student, we have a lot of activities, especially our sports. So we are not a CPT school, honestly. So we just have like about 1,000 students may be interested in the CPT program. However, other like 90%, they are just regular students. They are just come here to get the education and then to get the real world experience. So that's it. I'm gonna leave the time to any of you who has a question regarding any about our program or the CPT or the seamless transfer, feel free to type in the chat. Then I can answer in one by one. Thank you. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ms. Huan, for the walkthrough of us on especially for the October 25th start term. That's amazing. And the CPT policy, renewal frequency, all essential information. Now we're officially enter the stage of question and answer. So everyone here, if you haven't already, remember it's time for you to put your question into the Q&A section on your toolbar underneath your screen. So please do so we can grab your question and move them to the Q&A sheet. With that being said, let me stop share for now and reshare our Q&A sheet so we can get into the Q&A session for today's. All right. So, thank you, Bolo, again for documenting all these good questions. So, first person here says they're interested in Monroe's master's program. And somewhat he heard so-called day one CPT might be ending. Can you clarify? I think this person might be referring to the DHS proposal. And in the proposal, there's nothing CPT related as of now. But Ms. Huang, clarify me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, Alice, you said the exactly I want to say. There's nothing about CPT, and I don't know where you heard the news, and I will telling you that's not true. The USCS might just want to change some like a policy regarding the F1 or J1 student, which the most popular one limited the duration of the student stay in the States, or a student cannot repeat the same educational level, but I never heard anything regarding the CPT. That's curriculum practical training that's encouraged by every US school. Why we having this kind of program? Because at the beginning, designs for those kind of student. Everybody knows as a master level student, you has to have some internship. You has to have some real world experience. So some student, for example, I'm taking maybe undergrad, and then I didn't have much experience related to my field. Now I'm studying for MBA. So, in order to better understand my professor's lecture or the to get a good grade for my class, I go out to get some experience related to my major. That's the original thought to design for the CPT program. So I believe every school encourage students to do the curriculum practical training. I never heard USS gonna ending this. So that's not true. So if your STEM OPT expires on December 1st, you can, if you're interested, you can apply for our June intake, which starts in January 6th.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ms. Huan. So yeah, this person also asked that they plan to travel to India in March, and what would you recommend in their situation? Because we understand for now, after your OPT, you have 60 days grace period to transfer to a new school, but that will only cover this person to the end of February, and they want to do a travel after the grace period.
Right. And that depends on yourself because if you have valid F1 visa and if you want to travel back to your home country, um, yeah, that's your own decision. If the semester is ongoing, we don't recommend students to traveling at that time because March, our semester starting in January 6th and ending in April 10th, mid-April. So at that time, it's still the class is ongoing. We don't recommend that, but you can scan the QR code and we can discuss that further. Okay.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Ms. Huan. So it's definitely not recommended for F1 students to travel, especially when your class is in section. Although low residency or not, hyper professional or not, when you enter the border, they may ask you some question on your legitimate intention, since F1 is the major intention is to study. All right, awesome. Thank you, Ms. Huan. And our next question here. Oh, I saw one participant raise hand. So I'm so sorry, Chen. We don't do raise hand connection today, but you can always paste your question in the Q&A. So please do so in the Q&A. Thank you so much. Thank you. We would love to take your question and get them answered. Appreciate it. All right, next one, we have any PhD or doctoral level CPT program at Monroe.
We are on our way to apply for our doctor PhD program, but it haven't finalized yet. So it probably gonna be in very near future. Once the things finalize, we're gonna do another webinar, and everyone gonna be the first one to hear the great news with us. But at this stage, we haven't got any like finalized, so maybe in the near future, we're gonna have a PhD or doctorate degree.
Yeah, and that will be CPT integrated as well, and maybe coming up next year. I mean, who knows, right? Awesome. Thank you so much. That's a great question, and we all look forward to it. So next will be, will using day one CPT affect my H-1B application later? So first, I want to take a say on this one since I'm also on H-1B. Um, it doesn't necessarily because the majority of your H-1B filing is more about your qualification and the companies. But Ms. Huang, what do you think?
Yeah, same. I'm gonna have the same answer. But if you using the CPT means you're an F1 student. When you are an F1 student, you following the regulation and the rules for an F1. After you change the status to H, then you're following the rule under H category. I don't see a problem gonna affect each other. If the CPT gonna affect H1B, then no one gonna apply for that. So I never heard of this. And I'm telling you that's not true unless you did something bad.
All right. Thank you so much for the answer. And even if like there's like maintenance of status relevant RFE, then Monroe, it's always a good team to just contact them immediately, and Monroe will give you a RFE packet or say just related support, right?
Yeah, our advisors, our DSO will give the supportive document if we have that. First things, I remember all the student got an RFE letter. The USCS will require the CPT agreement because you said this is a curriculum practical training. It has to have the CPT agreement. We need to look at the students' attendance. We need to look at the students' grades. Those are more like major things the USCS require. But we can talk about that later, and we can move to next question.
Awesome. Thank you, Ms. Wang. So next one will be, will using Day One CPT affect my OPT application later? So do you want to talk about how CPT will affect OPT?
Like I mentioned in the previous slides, and there's a slide says if you haven't used your muscle level or OPT, you cannot use the full-time CPT more than 12 months during the study. For example, the MBA STEM program, roughly 2 year and a half or 3 years. During this 2.5 years, you cannot using the full-time CPT more than 12 months. Then if you're using more than 12 months, the USCS consider you're doing the OPT during the program, so they're not gonna approve that. However, you never using more than 12 months, they're not gonna affect your OPT application after you graduated.
All right, thank you, Ms. Huan. And everyone here, please also remember OPT is only one-time chance on per higher level of degree. So let's say if you already finish a master's and you apply for OPT with that one, then for your second master with Monroe, you cannot pursue another OPT as it's only one-time chance per higher level of degree. So yeah, so when we say more than 1 year of full-time CPT will void your OPT eligibility, that 1 year accounts for the whole duration of your program. It doesn't reset, it doesn't clock back. Cumulatively, you can't exceed that 1 year of full-time. But if you stay on part-time CPT, then that's still okay. All right, thank you so much. And next one, oh, we have a good question here. How many hours can I legally work on CPT? And Braska says 80 plus hours. I'm hoping you're not talking about weekly hours. Otherwise, it would be insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the weekly hours, if you're doing 80 hours, that will be a big red flag because, like I said, you're on an F1 visa. F1 means study is your priority. If you have the full-time study and you can working more than 80 hours a week, that definitely not suggested. So in our CPT form, only have two options. Option one, 20 hour, less than 20 hours, considered as part-time. More than 20 hours, considered as full-time. However, in the future, if the immigration officer review a document, you're doing more than 80 hours, then we're not definitely not gonna suggest that.
All right, thank you, Ms. Juan. And even if you're not on CPT in general, 80 plus hours per week, that sounds like a big stretch for your life. But thank you for asking the question. So 40 hours, try to remain that healthy balance. All right, thank you so much for asking the question. Next one, how does Monroe ensure students stay compliant with USCIS rules?
That's a very good question. So, like I mentioned in the beginning, we have been here since 1933, more than 93 years. Second, our international student has more than like 2,800 international student in total, can include ESL level, undergrad and grad. And we have more than 90,500 on campus. How come I speak about all the data? Because I'm letting you know we have very experienced to dealing with international students. How come we've been here long time, like in New York City? Because we know how to comply with not only USCS rules, we're gonna comply with the New York State rule and the Middle State rule. If we didn't complying with this all the institute the regulations and rules, we're not going to be here that long. Of course, I've been in this industry more than 11 years, and our PDSO has been in this industry more than 40 years, and our senior vice president. So as we stay in the industry, we love what we are doing, so we of course gonna care about students future. Like I said from the beginning, the USCS not going to punish on the school, not going to punish on the employer, going to punish on the student. So we are very carefully to help our student to stay in compliance.
Okay,
How
awesome.
you might ensure? So you need to do your own research. Is Monroe a good school? Is Monroe like doesn't have like the bad like the image or the reputation regarding the international students? So that's the things you need to figure out. But of course, as a Monroe staff, I'm letting you know we are over the years we are stay compliant with our USCS or New York State or Middle State.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ms. Huan, for the explanation to this one. And that's really beautiful to hear that Monroe has been in the country and standing right there for almost a century as of now. And again, as you said, Monroe has always been keen in supporting their international students and keep the compliance in good shape. With that being said, I think it's also about how we keep the students like the CPT compliant. First and foremost, that will be built into the course, like the credit you mentioned, as well as to apply and qualify for CPT, Monroe actually need to check a lot of documents you need to send. For example, your CPT agreement, your employment verification, and your job offer letter. Monroe actually does a lot of check on your behalf, but still at the end of the day, as Ms. Huang said, it will be up to your responsibility to make sure that the documents are accurate and authenticate, and they're real documents. So yeah, so to qualify for things at Monroe, you do need to prove yourself first and submit the documents. So that's part of the compliance that Monroe is doing to ensure students that are compliant towards the rules. On the school side, as Ms. Huang said, it's already compliant and goes through the check successfully each year. All right, thank you so much. Next one would be, can CPT agreement be waived or any alternatives?
The CPT agreement cannot be waived. Like I said, every student, when they receive the RFE, the first thing the US student to provide is a CPT agreement. However, there could be alternatives, like the students submit document as to like other papers. For example, the employment verification letters to verify all the detail we need, what we required is all on the letter. Could be, but the CPT agreement cannot be waived, but it could be have the alternative way to do it.
Awesome. Thank you, Ms. Juan. And again, I think that's also speaking to the last question we just answered. That's part of the compliance. So make sure you at least have some form of document to make sure your employer is saying a non and to make sure you're able to prove in future, if needed, that you are involved in a valid CPT. So, yep. All right. Next question we have, number 8, is how does a payment plan work at Monroe?
Um, for the first time, like the first semester student, we not allow student to do the payment plan. Student has to pay in full. However, starting from the second semester, student can requesting for the installment plan, like a payment plan, and pay for like every month. But for the first semester, not first year, first semester, we require student to pay in full.
All right, and the payment plan will begin from the second semester, and to my knowledge, they can do like 3 different installments for one semester from the second semester.
Right, 3 or 4, yeah.
Therefore, so it's a flexible choice for people. All right, so next one will be any scholarships, how to apply, and what are the criteria?
Yes, we do offering international student scholarship or international grants. However, for the second master, there's the scholarship has been built in, so there's no scholarship available for the second master. We are located in New York. We only charge 4,598 per semester, so that's really reasonable and affordable tuition rate. However, if you are the first master, like you getting your bachelor degree, and then you come to Monroe as the first master, yes, there's a scholarship available. Depends on your GPA, depends on your previous working experience, depends, for example, your TOEFL IELTS score. Like we take the holistic approach. We're gonna, as a package, we not only identify or look at one category. So if you're asking for the scholarship for a first master student, yes. For the second master, no.
All right, thank you. Since our second master tuition already been through a discount, a large one. So yeah, it's pretty much equivalent on for a really big amount of scholarships. So if you're first time, then yes, you can still apply. And there are many categories out there. Thank you so much. So next one will be what happens if my hybrid CPT is denied. So can Ms. Wan talk about any denial case for CPT and what are the major reasons?
Based on my experience, I don't remember any student's CPT got denial unless the the job offer letter is totally different or totally irrelevant to your major or the classes. For example, you are a CS major, however, but the job offer shows you're forensic psychology related. That's irrelevant. Our my colleague who in charge of the CPT processing will ask you to like maybe you can find another internship, or for example, although I'm working for like a hotel, however I'm working in their IT department, so my job is IT related. So we're gonna ask you to revise the job offer letter, or you need to switch the major which is relevant to the CPT you're applying for. Because if we give you all approval in the future, you're gonna get picked up on from the USCIS. So that's why we stay us in compliance.
All right, thank you, Ms. Swan. And I think the key point here is finding the relevance between the job and the program. Otherwise, you can't have an easy denial. I mean, just picture this for your future immigration processing like H-1B, you do want to make sure that's relevant as well for future,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, with that being said, let's move on to the next question. So are tuition costs higher or lower than other programs? So
I
what's
would say all the program costs almost this all the same, unless you are an accounting major, because I will say in the accounting major, 90% of our graduate will pass the CPA exam. However, why? Because we like the accounting major student, they're using there's a fee called backer fee because the software is really expensive. If you buy by yourself, maybe 4,000 something, that make you like practice all the subject in order to help you to passing the CPA exam. So it's gonna be a slightly different. And other program like advanced certificate, maybe few hundred, maybe 200 or 300 higher than the master of data science. Other than that, all program are the same, the tuition rate.
Awesome, thank you. So mostly are the same, except for the accounting, since you need to actually pay for the lessons. That will cost you 4,000 if you purchase by yourself.
Mhm.
And I'm also thinking this question may be referring to, oh, is the October 25th the new added tuition different from others? The answer.
No, the same. The tuition rate will be same as the regular semester.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Next one, question number 12 would be, what do the new rules say about doing a master's after a PhD? Will this affect your ability to start CPT in the first semester while working in MPA program in January 2026? I think the new rule may refer to the proposal, the DHS proposal.
At this moment, no, there's not affect. If we have few PhD students, for example, they're doing pharmacies, they're doing philosophy. However, they get a job. The job requires students to have some managerial skill. So they're coming back to school to study MBA. So we accepting that group of students because they real needs for the MBA, Master of Business Administration program. However, in the future, no one knows because the USCS just closed out the public comment period. We are waiting on that. If because in some proposals that student cannot compete the same educational level, student cannot from a higher educational level to choose the lower one. If you already have a PhD, you are starting to do the MBA. That's considered as one of the include in that a change. However, at this moment, we didn't hear anything yet. If you're a current student, you're not gonna get affected. But in the future, maybe in 2026, no one knows. We are still waiting on the decision from USCS.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Wang. So again, nothing about that DHS proposal is finalized yet. So whatever you're seeing there is just a draft by the Department of Homeland Security. And if you go into their public comment area, which is closed for now, but you can see like hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands comments, and majority of them, as we analyze, they are against the proposal. So even in their favor, in DHS, the government favor, they will need to revise and take in each of the comment before they can implement. So nothing is finalized yet. So when we say rules or changes, they're just not finalized proposals, really. And one of the strategies our company been telling people from experience wise, not legal advice here, you can also consider enrolling at an earlier term because from the history standpoint, even the new rule, and we're not sure about how much we'll implement, it doesn't trace back to enrolled students. So that's one of the things you may consider. And if any updates in future, you can consider deferral to your ideal term again. But if you want, consider enrolling earlier. That could be something you can think about. So yeah, thank you, Ms. Huan. And our next question will be, what is the minimum number of credits F1 student must take each semester while on day one CPT, and what is the total credits requirement for the program?
7 credits minimum for the F1 student, the minimum requirement. But what is the total credits requirement for the program? Depends on the program. Like I mentioned, if MPH, it's 45 credits. If MBA regular is 36 credits. Computer science, 36 credits. Data science, 36 credits. MBA STEM, 45. Healthcare administration, that's 42. So it depends on which program you are referring to.
Yeah, great. Awesome. So I would say the majority, more than half of the programs Monroe offering for master's student, international student, they are a 2-year 36 credits program if you don't take the semester leave. All right. And next big question is 80 to 100% scholarship possible? What do you think, Ms. Huang?
What do you mean 80 to 100%? You mean 100% scholarship cover your tuition? No,
Okay, what about 80%? Is that
no,
something that you've seen?
no.
Okay. All right, thank you so much. And again, we have discount for the second master, and it's still possible for you to apply like partially, maybe let's say maybe 10 to 20% as you earn scholarship if you're first masters, but that will be after the scholarship committee's review. So next one will be what support does Monroe provide for CPT job placement? Do we have any like employment resources for student?
Yes, every other week, our career advanced career, what's the office called? Career service office will send out the email to student part-time or full-time. We have a lot of like a company hiring. So for example, last semester we have very big job fair in our Bronx campus, like MTA, like another like maybe how many company? Maybe 50 companies attending that fair. So that depends on the student. If you think you're ready, you can go to the fair. You can, when we send out the email says there's some company they're hiring, you can send them your resume, like other schools do. We already been here 93 years. We have a lot of connection locally. But at this moment, no one says you guarantee can have a job, right? Yeah, we do offering the every semester we have job fair.
Awesome, thank you for that. And so, to my understanding, the career services they will help you to prepare for it, and there's as well as job fairs happening on campus regularly. So make sure you take advantage of that opportunity and introduce yourself to your future employers. All right, thank you. And completed my PhD in 2025 and my OPT ends on October 31st. Can I transfer my civis during the grace period after OPT ends? I have deferred my MPA program MRO to winter 2026. So that's January 6th now.
Yes.
Okay.
Before your grace period ends, you have to transfer your record from your previous school to us. Yeah,
So in
because
this
yes,
case, the transfer deadline will be December 30th if you haven't used out your unemployment grace period on OPT.
correct.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. And they can still make it to the January term, even
Yeah,
if
January 6th, this starting in January 6th, 2026.
awesome. So yes, you can still make it to the winter 2026. Thank you. All right, next one will be what GPA do I need to keep my CPT active at Monroe? I think that's not even CPT relevant. That's like not being for the not in
Not being dismissed. Student have to have a 3.0 GPA. If you cannot handle your priority as a student, then definitely you cannot do the internship. The minimum GPA requirement is 3.0.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Huan. And is this is not really 3.0, it's not really CPT relevant question. It's really academic standard that's held,
Right.
right? Yeah, and so you need to make sure of that at least. So next one will be how long does it take Monroe to issue a new I-20 for CPT? I think this person is talking about the CPT issuance.
Let's put it this way. First, you have to be admitted, get a acceptance letter. Second, you have to submit all required documents like financial document. Third, your CVS record has to be transferred to us. If all of the three you already are satisfied, like the record has been transferred to Monroe University, the bank statement, all the documentation, like the financial documentation, are accurate and sufficient. Usually take uh 3 to 5 business days for the regular I-20. I would say 2 to 3 business days. After the regular I-20, it take another 2 to 3 days for CPT I-20. Because first, we need to generate the initial I-20 for students. Second, we need to active students record in CVIS system. That's called continual attendance I-20. Third is the CPT I-20. It includes like 3 departments, and like I mentioned, it takes a lot of steps. I would say 5 to 7 business days to get a CPT I-20 after we receive proper documentation.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Swan. So make sure you put in the application early and make sure there's no delay based on the given timeline. And next one. So are there any restrictions on the type of jobs Monroe students can take?
What do you mean, any restrictions? Like I mentioned, a student has to, if want to apply for CPT, it has to relate to the major. So as long as it's related to the major, then student has the job offer letter, student submitted proper documentation. Then I didn't see any student got denial if in that case. But
Yes.
you cannot apply for 2 full-time job for sure. Because like I mentioned, if you taking like a two, the F1 student, the priority is study. So you have full-time study first, and then you want to have an internship. You can have a full-time internship or 2 part-time internship. However, you cannot have 1 full-time, 1 part-time, or 2 full-time job at the same time.
All right, thank you, Ms. Swan. So make sure first your job is relevant to the program of study. Second, don't do full time. Basically, just don't work over 40 hours per week. Try to stay within the hours limit as well. If we're talking about a requirement, I don't think that's literally a restriction. That's like a bare minimum requirement. All right. So can I compare Monroe's program fully online if you're on day one CPT?
If you are not requesting for our I-20, then yes, F1 student cannot complete a degree or complete any class on fully online. If, for example, you are overseas, you are in your own country, yes, you can complete the program fully online. Like, for example, you have green card, you have H-1B, or you are a US citizen, yes, you can fully online. However, if you're requesting for I-20, you cannot do fully online.
All right, thank you. Just remember the main purpose of F1 again is for you to enter the US and study. So if it's fully online, there's no really reasoning behind issuing the F1 visa, right? So that's why F1 students are not allowed to do fully online, but you're still like you can take the hybrid program and go in for a low residency program, which are designed with your situation in mind. All right, next one will be how long does it usually take to reinstate F1 status? I think that's more relevant to immigration lawyer. Is
Yes.
it want to take
That's
this?
that's nothing to do with school. That depends on USCIS, their timing. But it's very different. Case and case are very different. I have few students, they got the reinstatement approval in 2 months. Some take 6 to 8 months, so no one knows. But I would say average, it take couple months.
Yeah, it definitely takes months to happen. I remember for change of status, I've seen my clients maybe getting approved within a week and some been waiting for a year and still been waiting.
Right.
Really varies, really up to USCIS processing. Okay, next one will be our employment opportunities at Monroe focused on international students. Many employer and career fairs don't sponsor H-1B. How does Monroe support students in the situation?
The employer doesn't sponsor H-1B, then how Monroe to affect those company employer to have them to give the student sponsor? I believe that's really interesting. But like I said, if you are really like prepared and you know what's your goal and you do the internship and from the like when we hiring, I hiring like some student workers or we hiring from outside, at least you need to get into the door. The first step, you need to be seen, right? Second, you have to be a very good at what you're doing. So the employer probably they will consider about like international student.
Yeah, so this is actually a very great question. It's just in the reality, the situation is quite complicated, and whether employer sponsor or not is usually a very complicated internal decision. However, Monroe does have a handshake system that you can log into once you enroll. You can log in using your Monroe email, and it actually give you a filter to filter out those sponsorship information as well. For example, whether the employer sponsors CPT, OPT, or even H-1B, it will allow you to select through the filters. So that may help. All right. And next one would be, do you offer funded program from master's or offer graduate assistantship? I think this person is talking about like a fully sponsored situation and also the GA.
Not I'm aware of.
But is there maybe any on-campus opportunity open to
Yeah, we
students?
have on-campus job. Some department they might need like hiring student workers. Like our office, we hiring like three or four, five student workers from our student. But I said it's not guaranteed, and the spot is really limited.
It's highly competitive.
Cannot rely on this to enroll into a school. I would say in that way.
Okay, all right. Thank you for the insights. And next one will be, are there limits on how many years I can stay on day one CBT? Again, I think that's more like an immigration lawyer relevant question. But any insights from this one?
Yeah, like I would say if your program is 3 years, if you already use up your master level OPT, you can in this 3 years you can do CPT. If your program is 2 years, in this 2 years, the duration of the study you can doing the CPT.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And next one question would be, if I apply for the January term and get accepted, can I defer the enrollment to the spring if necessary?
If you're already thinking about the spring term, how come you didn't apply for spring from the beginning? But I will tell you the answer is yes. But we only help students defer one time or two because if you already know you want the spring term is more suitable for you, you can starting the spring application from the beginning. But you know some things do happens if you got accepted, but you want to defer in the future. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Wan. I think they are asking this also because they worry about DHS proposals implementation. They might want to follow like what I share. Many people.
Right. Be if you are already enrolled into the program, and that will be more safe compared to you are still not getting enrolled. Once their policy says from this day, then like the H-1B, everybody will rush back, come back to the States because it's unclear. But if you're well prepared, has a plan A and plan B, it's a really good option to prepare everything earlier.
Got it. Thank you. So Ms. Huan, as we have only 3 minutes left and we still have about like these several questions, so maybe let's get to one or two more of them and then let's call it a day. And thank you so much for your time. So next one would be, how many times can a student enroll in Day 1 CPT master's program to maintain visa status? I'm not sure what's exactly the question here.
I believe it's related to the duration of stay,
Mhm.
right? Like at this moment, there's no rule very clear stated 1 time, 2 time, or 3 time. But in the future, we do not know. I will say if you want to come back to the school to enroll as a student in avoid in the future so many uncertainty, So I suggest you can pick the October intake or the June intake, the January intake.
Okay, thank you, Miss Swan, for the insight. Next one would be, can I change majors at Monroe while on day one speed without losing status? So it's about
You
major.
could change your major. However, if you also want the CPT, the major has to relevant to the CPT. Yeah.
Gotcha. So it's definitely a lot, and you need to apply. Of course, we had before it happens, and if you still want to get on CPT, you need to make sure your job is still relevant to the new one, or if you
Mhm.
change your job or look for a new one. All right.
Right.
So one last question for today. Are unpaid internships allowed under CPT?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, let me see how many times we still have. One more minute. Okay. As a PhD graduate in civil engineering from Georgia Tech and currently a project manager, am I allowed to enroll in an MBA program?
Yes. At this moment, before the USCS changing the rule, yes.
Uh,
MBA project management or it has to, if you already have a internship, it has to relate it to the internship you are working on.
awesome. Thank you, Miss Swan. And as although I said that, but we only have three questions left. Do you mind just
Yeah. Yep.
finishing?
Let's answer all the questions.
Great. Would a letter of recommendation from my supervisor during my first year of OPT when I was doing volunteer work be acceptable? Letter of recommendation.
Yeah. It could be from your previous supervisor.
Yeah, so it could be from previous like professional or academic networks, so that definitely
Mhm.
works. If I apply the program MBA healthcare, may I work in the acupuncture clinic administrator in acupuncture, or I only have qualification with management?
We need to see the actual like paper and material. But I do remember I have a student on MBA healthcare major and working in a very similar field as yours. I believe I need to see more document in order to give you the accurate answer. But from the things you mentioned, I think the answer is yes.
Okay, great. So I think the key point here is really whether the nature of work is relevant to the management nature of the program, right? All
Right.
right. So our last question, but not least today, what will be the first date of CBT if I defer to January 2026? When will Civis ID show active? So your Civis ID, if you transfer in, it's already active, then it will stay active.
But
If
if your Civis record transferred to us, for example, now you have to start the earliest semester, the nearest semester, which is October 25 intake. You cannot transfer in your record now and you're waiting for the next year. No, because we do have a semester available in October. For example, if your record transfer after October 25, yes, you can waiting for next year, January.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ms. Huan, for the clarification. So if you're aiming for the January term, then your transfer of civis should also be close to the start date. It should not be too early. Like if you're transferring right now for January, it wouldn't make sense for you. And it will
Yeah,
definitely stop your work if you're on a job right now.
correct.
All right. Awesome. That will be the end of the question. Thank you so much all for answering the beautiful questions. Thank you everyone for the contribution. And thank you, Ms.
Thank
Huan.
you, everyone. Have a great night.
Hey, good
Bye.
night, everyone. Okay, and you will receive a recording of today's webinar in your email as sign up. And thank you so much. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye, Miss Huang. Thank you so much, and
Bye, Alice. Bye.
have a wonderful weekend.